What's up, fellas? In today's video, we are looking back at the 2015 NBA draft. This is something I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days, looking back at some NBA draft classes beginning here in 2015, looking at rankings, looking at grades, looking at player comparisons. And it's just really interesting to look back on what people thought about these draft classes at the time and how these players have developed. And in this case, we're looking at NBADraft.net and their rankings. But quickly, before we get started, if you enjoy content like this, then consider subscribing. I upload twice a day, every single day on this channel. So it's a great place for consistent NBA content, the most consistent NBA content on YouTube. You can also leave a like rating on the videos as well. Helps me out a ton, helps get the videos out to more people on YouTube, and lets me know that you're enjoying the content. And you can check me out at various socials at the bottom of the screen. Those are in a link tree down in the description below. With those things said, let's take a look at this 2015 class. So the big headliner for me here in the rankings themselves is the fact that Emmanuel Mudiay is the second highest ranked player in this class. Going, about halfway through the college season, Jahlil Okafor actually established himself as the best player in this class because of the offensive game that he brought to the table. But as we got more towards the end of the year, it became clear that Karl-Anthony Towns was actually a better all-around player than Jahlil Okafor, which of course has translated now to the league. But the fact that Emmanuel Mudiay is ranked as the second highest ranked player in this class is a surprise, because that is not an opinion that was shared by many people. Now, Mudiay was a good prospect and people did think a lot of him. He was top 10 basically across the board, but number 2 is definitely very high. Now, this is a very common comparison here for Emmanuel Mudiay. NBA comparison, John Wall, because he can't shoot, but he is a athletic, strong guard that can get to the rim and has playmaking ability. And he went from high school to playing overseas to then the NBA, so the non-traditional route honestly kind of helped him to a certain extent, because people didn't get a chance to really see the flaws in his game as much as they did once he got to the league. Ranked as a 99 overall player, and as I said, the second highest ranked player in this class, ahead of every single other guard in the class, including D'Angelo Russell, who has made an all-star team, including Devin Booker, who is an all-NBA caliber guy, including Terry Rozier, who's a fine pro. There's a lot of, pretty good guards in here, not just the Devin Bookers and the D'Angelo Russells of the world that are ranked significantly behind Emmanuel Mudiay in this class. Now, the other bigger storyline here leading up to the draft, apart from the Towns-Okafor debate that was eventually settled and Towns went first overall, was where to put D'Angelo Russell, because he was a bit of a late riser, not someone that people were really looking at a ton as a potential one-and-done guy. Had a really good season at Ohio State, and ultimately he goes second to LA, Okafor goes third. Neither of those guys last very long in their initial spot, but Russell's had some success after being traded to the Nets, and now Okafor just kind of bounces around to a couple different teams in the league. For Russell, he was seen as a really nice scoring, playmaking combo guard. NBA comparison, Penny Hardaway, Brandon Roy. I think the Brandon Roy comparison is really interesting here. Of course, Roy at his peak was a much better player than D'Angelo Russell has become. Ranked as a 98 overall player in this class, however, and him being ranked number 3rd makes total sense right now. Again, the Mudiay one is still just crazy to see. A couple of other big time busts here though sprinkled throughout. One being Mario Hezonja, who is barely an NBA player at this point. People really liked the shooting ability and the athleticism that he brought, the streakiness that he brought. He was a bit more of a high ceiling international prospect than we're used to seeing. And people got really excited about Mario Hezonja, as shown by the fact that he's ranked 5th in this class. 94 overall prospect. NBA comparison, Rex Chapman, the rarely seen non-international comparison for an international prospect, but 6'8", could shoot, good athlete. People were excited about him. Didn't work out at all. This is a guy that I'm gonna be honest, I still haven't given up on. I still think that Justice Winslow can be a good NBA player, ranked as the 6th highest ranked player in this class. And injuries have, derailed what he could have been to this point in his career, but I still think as a playmaking 2/3, Justice Winslow could still be something in the league. This is another interesting one to take a look at, though. Kristaps Porzingis ranked all the way down here at 7. He went higher than that in the draft, and apart from some injury issues now in Dallas, has been a really good player. NBA comparison being Andrea Bargnani and Pau Gasol. The Bargnani thing kind of tracks because of the perimeter shooting, but Porzingis is a better defender and he's 7'3", so it's completely different. But the one that I really want to get to here is Devin Booker, because he's ranked here as the 12th best player in this class, and that's right around where he ended up getting drafted. And pretty immediately became clear that Devin Booker was more than just a spot-up shooter. And I think as we look at his comparisons here, NBA comparison, Gordon Hayward, Klay Thompson, that's actually pretty high praise, really high praise, considering where he's ranked in this class. But people saw Devin Booker as kind of a spot-up guy. And once he got to the league, the Suns needed perimeter creation basically immediately, and they really empowered him to be more of a ball screen guy, more of a pick-and-roll playmaker. because of a lack of a solid point guard there in Phoenix that continued up until last year when they acquired Ricky Rubio. And that really allowed Devin Booker to develop his game and become one of the better young two guards in the entire league, and certainly better than the 12th highest ranked player in this class. But now we get to some of the later round guys and some of the later pick players in this class. Willie Cauley-Stein is a player that I thought was going to be good. Went, I believe, 6th in this class, is ranked 14th here. I thought the defensive ability would have translated. It did not. Bobby Portis looked good initially in Chicago, but is clearly just like an NBA rotation, maybe 6-man at best type guy now at this point in his career. Kelly Oubre had a bit of a rough start, but has become a pretty solid pro himself. Thierry Rozier earned himself a nice contract, as ultimately Montrezl Harrell will as well, as a really good 6th-man big guy. Frank Kaminsky went way higher than 22, and has really not turned out to be much. Another in a long line of misses there in Charlotte. DeLon Wright's a solid pro. Kevon Looney's been important on some championship teams. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson I thought was going to be good, was not. Ditto for Tyus Jones, although he has had a nice last year or two in the NBA. Cedi Osman all the way down here too. But here's another big one that if we had done this video a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have looked twice at Christian Wood being ranked as the 38th highest ranked player in this class. Let's take a look and see what they have to say about Christian Wood, who has turned into a really, really good NBA player. Ranked as a 90 overall prospect, with his NBA comparison being John Henson. So what tracks about that is the athleticism and the length. John Henson, when he showed up to UNC, was a very much more perimeter-oriented player than what he ended up becoming in the NBA. And ultimately, that was the right decision for him, because what translated for him was length, size, athleticism at the rim, not perimeter skill. But Christian Wood, on the other hand, has developed that face-up game and that three-point shot to go along with, that length and that athleticism, and has become a really, really, really good big man in the NBA, and honestly one of the more underpaid players of this most recent free agency class. Strengths, versatile forward, good face-up game, as we talked about. Weaknesses, very skinny. That is still the case, but he has found ways around that and is definitely higher ranked than 38th in this class. As we continue to scroll, I don't think there's anybody this late that has made a significant impact, but I want to scroll and I want to make sure. TJ McConnell is here as the 73rd highest ranked player in this class. Would certainly be higher if we were re-ranking this now. I think we're good though. I don't think I'm missing any here as we go all the way out through the top 100. Quinn Cook is there, but nothing super significant there. So this is a really interesting class because, again, you can kind of get to this little middle part here and see Montrezl Harrell, Kelly Oubre, Terry Rozier, Bobby Portis, Cauley-Stein's a rotation guy. And then you can go up towards the top and see some bigger busts. Guys like Stanley Johnson, who I meant to talk about earlier when I was talking about Mario Hezonja. Had a really good rookie year, looked like a competent player, and is barely an NBA guy at this point. Cameron Payne, same thing, looked good early, is barely an NBA guy at this point. And Miles Turner's another really interesting one. I want to see what their comparison is for him. Ranked as a 94 overall player. NBA comparison, Rafe LaFrentz. That is not what I thought I would see. Someone that can shoot a bit in the mid-range, good rim protector, but ultimately is someone that we're continually waiting on to take a jump that I'm not sure that jump is ever really coming. So as we look back at this class, man, this just is such a good indicator of how difficult it is to predict what's going to happen with NBA draft prospects. Karl Anthony Towns being the first overall pick made complete sense. Mudiay being ranked second is not a great pick, but Mudiay, could have been good, and D'Angelo Russell could have been a bust very, very easily. It's not like there was a ton separating them in terms of what you were evaluating at the time, because Mudiay had better athleticism, but Russell was a more skilled player, and it just depended on who was going to develop what they needed to. And ultimately, Mudiay didn't develop the skills, and Russell became, worked on his quickness and his athleticism at the NBA level. And that's what it comes down to, I think, ultimately, is evaluating the work ethic and the ability of these players to get better and to improve. Case in point is Devin Booker. He worked on his skills. He was given the opportunity to, and became a much better player than people thought that he was coming into the draft at the time here in 2015. So again, a really interesting class to look back on, with some big misses and some guys at the top that certainly have done very, very well for themselves early on in their NBA careers. But that is going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you all very much for watching. If you missed any of my previous videos, you can check out the boxes on screen. If you're looking for more content like this, you can check out the channel as a whole. You can sub the channel, as I said, you can leave a like rating, and you can check me out at various socials in that Linktree link in the description below. With all those things said, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.